Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting on the Commission of the Status of Women. As we call our meeting to order, we remember that this is March, which is Women's History Month. May we please have a call to order, or roll call.
Vice Chair Devine? Here. Commissioner Katafian?
Yes.
Commissioner Lamel?
Here.
Commissioner Kivanian? Commissioner Punlaki? Commissioner Manasarian? Commissioner Sobey?
Here.
Commissioner Walker?
Here.
Chair Curlin?
Here, and we remember that Commissioner Manasarian continues to recover. May we have a brief report on the posting of the agenda, item 3 on the agenda, please.
The agenda for the March 10th meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside of City Hall on or before March 7th, 2008.
Item 4, introductions and presentations. None are scheduled. Let's move to item 5, please.
Oral comment. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Time is limited to an amount to be set by the chair. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or discussion. Staff may refer the matter to the proper department for investigation and report.
Okay, we'll stick to our standard 5 minutes. We have 2 cards. Our first is Liza Bubari. If you'll please come forward. Go ahead and restate your name into the microphone, and welcome.
Thank you. Liza Bubari, and I am here on behalf of the Glendale YWCA, and I want to say thank you for accepting me to do oral communication, Madam Chairperson Curlin and Commissioners. I am the fundraising chair for the Glendale YWCA this year, and I am here to make an announcement that come May 2nd, we are having our annual Legacy Luncheon. And this year, it's going to be held at the Castaways, and it's going to be at noon. We are opening this to our public, and for anyone who would like to purchase a ticket to attend. This year, we are honoring 5 incredible women, and they are Mary Boger. We are also honoring Joan McCarthy from Disney, Sue Shine from the Glendale Police Department, and also Marilyn Gunnell and Carol Jeroyan, who also retired from the Glendale Retired Association for the Retired. And this year, for the first time, we're also honoring one couple, and they are going to be Richard and Susan Dell. So it's going to be an incredible day, and I invite each and every one of you. You will be receiving your invitation in the mail, and just wanted to say thank you and hope to see you all, and it's an extended invitation to all the public.
Great, thank you. Any questions?
I do. Lisa, last year you had Dr. Susan Love as your keynote, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
It was
This
wonderful.
year, thank you. She was absolutely wonderful. We had great feedback on that. This year, we are having our keynote speaker is Lisa L.C. She's an author, and she's going to have her books there to be signed, and she's an author, and I can't remember the name of the book, but she's going to have her books over there also autobiographed.
Wonderful. I know it was a great event last year, so
We're
I'm sure
expecting
you had to move to
something
a bigger venue, didn't you?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. So hopefully we'll have about 400 people there.
Great. Good.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes,
Commissioner
the
Walker?
tickets? The individual tickets are $90, and then we have for a table of 10, we are doing it instead of $900, the table would be $850, and we're also, of course, welcoming any sponsorship. And if anybody is interested, I'll be more than happy to send the sponsorship tiers to Lana, and then she can forward it, and she can have all the information for you.
And people can get tickets or
They can
more
get the
information
tickets
online?
via YWCA, or I'll be more than happy to accept any calls, and you can contact me at lisab@innersight.com. Okay? Thank you. Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Is it Innersight, S-I-G-H-T?
It's INNERSITE.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
That's it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, our next card is for Kanara Avadisian. Welcome, Ms. Avedissian. Go ahead and pull the mic down and state your name again.
Thank you for allowing us to be part of this meeting tonight. Good evening, Chair Kurlan, Commissioners, and staff. My name is Kanar Avedissian. I represent Armenian Relief Society. I'm the chairperson. And with me is Sona Kizirian. She is the vice chair. And of course, we have Lena Bozoyan. She is the secretary. You all know her. And as you know, Armenian Relief Society is an independent, non-governmental, non-profit organization. Our chapter, which is CPAN chapter, and it's the Glendale CPAN chapter, we have over 100 active members. They do voluntarily their work, and they try to do different events, and they work together to raise funds to help the community, the needs of the needy people. As some of you were attended our fashion show, and I think that's our backbone, one of our activities. And and of course, you know that we do participate in different with different organizations. We do fundraising, and we do take part in their events, such status of Commission of Status of Women, with the city programs, Relay for Life, and we walked last year with, to help raise funds for the Cancer Society. And of course, we try to do our best in our limits. And we're here today to say thank you for nominating one of our members, and she is the chairperson of Armenian Relief Society Western Regional Executive Board, and at the same time she is our member, one of our chapter member. And by the way, she's my sister too. And
So you're a little bit biased.
and we thank you very much for considering her, and she is dedicated, volunteer. Whatever she does it from her heart, and she is really hard-working person. And we're here on behalf of Armenian Relief Society Western Regional Executive Board and Glendale CPAN chapter to present you $1,000 check to participate in the luncheon. And of course, we heard that you're having a silent auction. We do have, so far, we do have 3 gifts, 2 baskets, gift baskets, and 1 gold bracelet. So far, we're almost 4 tables, like 40 people, and I think it's increasing day by day. And I think, I don't know if you guys received it or not, Commerce Casino is sending $1,500 check to honor Seda Kojayan's nomination. And as our motto says, with the people, for the people, and that's what we're doing. And thank you very much for having us. And we'll see you the 27th. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your generosity. Often, you know, you hope that the honoree has a table there to honor that person, and so your generosity in going over and above that and getting multiple tables, providing silent auction items when it's not even your event, and helping secure sponsorships is really very, very much appreciated. So thank you very, very much. I also wanted to make sure, I know someone else will probably have to speak as well, but I wanted to let you know that on April 25th, we will have our Sexual Assault Month Take Back the Night rally, and we know your chapter has often come, so we're hoping save that date, April 25th, and come out in full force and join us so we can work together again.
Okay, sure, we're ready.
And I'm sure others want to
yes,
comment.
I do. I'd like to comment. Thank you so much. You know what respect and admiration we have for the Armenian Relief Society, because not only working with Lena was such an honor, and she's such a vivacious and a hardworking woman, but working with all of you and having your support all the time. And I have to say that I went to the fashion show Luncheon. It was fantastic, over 500 women, unbelievable, and you really know how to do it right, and you're great humanitarians and just the best. So thank you so much. The Commission really appreciates you and the support that you give us and the support that you give to all the people that you help, and I know it's there are a lot of people that you are helping, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And I have a
Yes.
comment, too. I want to echo what my fellow commissioners have said. I have been very impressed, and with your organization, I had the opportunity also to attend the fashion show. Your sister is my neighbor, and you are my neighbor, too, on a different floor. So I really appreciate the way you have embraced me as well. I had the opportunity to go to the mortgage burning ceremony that you had recently, and it was quite a ceremony. I got a chance to burn my first mortgage, maybe my last. I really am I'm just inspired by what you do for the community, and thank you for supporting us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you very
thanks.
much. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, very good. Okay, on to the business now. Oh, no, first consent items. Item 6, Item 6A, approval of the minutes of the regular commission meeting held on February 11th, 2008. We all received the minutes in our packet. Are there any changes to the minutes? If there are no changes, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes as written.
Okay, is there unanimous consent for the approval of the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, minutes are approved as submitted. Next item on the agenda, please.
Agenda Item 7A1, the CSW Master Calendar of Events, with a motion to provide direction regarding the master calendar.
Okay. Any changes, questions, comments, anything on the calendar?
I move that we approve the calendar of events.
Second?
Second.
Unanimous consent then to approve the calendar? Okay, the calendar is approved as submitted. Okay, next item on the agenda, please.
Agenda Item 7A2, the update from the Jewels of Glendale 2008 Planning Committee. Motion to provide direction regarding the Jewels 2008.
Okay, has everyone had an opportunity to read the report? Looks like we're really on track, and we've done a great job at keeping on track and getting everything ready, and it looks like we're fairly close to where we need to be at this point in time, given that it's a few weeks away.
Yes. I'd like to point out that on page 2 of this agenda item, sponsorships, we can now put that up to 12,000, thanks to the Armenian Relief Society.
Were they already included, Ms. Haddad,
This
or
was-
not?
Included for 10
No,
seats,
this-
one table, not the additional.
This was
Okay. Very good. Would you like to, Ms. Haddad, give us a brief report as to whom the nominees are this year?
Actually, the awardees for this year are...
I mean, the awardees, thank you.
Ms. Seda Hojayan, who is an active community activist. I guess that would be a little redundant. Ms. Hojayan arrived from Iraq with 2 young children, very limited language skills, and a desire to improve her family's stability and status in the community. She overcame many of the challenges that face immigrant women in our community and did so with a level of grace and commitment to giving back to her community that is just unparalleled. And her nomination stood out head and shoulders amongst a very outstanding pool, actually, of women. The second awardee is Ms. Linda Patrick, who has her own set of challenges in her life, widowed at a very young age with 3 young daughters to raise. Ms. Patrick just turned around and utilized her experiences as both a single mother raising 3 daughters, as well as a cancer survivor, only 6 years after she lost her husband, to really start and establish a very big support in the community for Glendale's Relay for Life. So according to her application, and from what we know, Relay for Life has raised nearly $500,000 in the past 4 years as a result of Linda's dedication to this event. She pulls in so many members in the city, coordinates an extraordinarily diverse team of people to pull off one of the best community events of the year for everybody, I think, involved in that event. So she is incredibly deserving of this award as well. And then for the first time, the committee decided to honor posthumously the life and memory of Rabbi Carol Myers, who we lost this past year very, very soon. She was only 50 years old when she passed. She was the first woman rabbi in Southern California to have her own congregation, and she received ordination at a time when very few women even thought about becoming rabbis, much less went to the Hebrew Union College to get it. So she was a founding member of the Glendale Human Relations Coalition. Her legacy of social justice and interfaith tolerance and celebration is just one that continues to touch our city today. And her loss was one that was felt deeply in the community, but her memory and her legacy is one that continues to enrich our lives. So we wanted to give her a chance to be honored as well.
Okay, why don't you also give the details as to our keynote and the date, time, and individual ticket price?
The individual ticket prices for the event, it's going to be held March 27th, 2008, from 11:30 to 1:30. Prepayment is required, so please RSVP to women@ci.glendale.ca.us. The ticket prices are $50 for individual tickets, and sponsorship levels are available, and we're still accepting those until March 17th for inclusion into the program. The keynote speaker is the Honorable Mayor of Burbank, Marcia Ramos. Of course, that's consistent with the Commission's focus this year on women in leadership. And so, as a woman elected to her city council, and I believe it was 2001, Mayor Ramos has actually literally changed the landscape of her city with her commitment to issues that are pertinent and of relevance to women and families in her city. So we wanted to honor her. Of course, she's got very strong ties to Glendale, and one of the honorees is a resident of Burbank, although she works and does a lot of her charity work and volunteerism here in the city. So there's lots of connections between Burbank and Glendale this year, and we're celebrating those.
Okay, that's a pretty good report. Is there anything else that we specifically would like to discuss about how things are progressing or about the event or where we may need to exert more energy, or does everyone feel satisfied with the report and that we are where we need to be?
I would like to share a little something here. This is just a sample of the type of silent auction items that we'll have for the event, and this is from courtesy of Carrie Ann Miranda of Mary Kay Products. It has a little Coach bag and some Mary Kay products and also a gift certificate. We have so many items that have been donated generously by the community, by business owners, by our commissioners themselves. So we really want the public to come out and take advantage of this opportunity to do some shopping.
And I gather we won't be having a lot of those professional sports items.
That's
In every silent auction. Ours will be special. Well, that's okay, some, but ours
We
will
do
be
have
special.
one, right, yes. But I'd like to add to that, Commissioner Lamel, I think our silent auction items are going to be great, and so everyone bring your checkbooks and your cash and be ready to support the commission, because this fundraiser is our major fundraiser, and it helps to support all the programs that we have in the schools, in the community, and that we want to continue doing. So please come on out and take part in the silent auction.
We will have some goodie bags, courtesy of Busby Promotions.
We call it
Nestle's
swag these days.
swag. Okay, but the goodie is the chocolate.
That is a goodie. Okay, any other questions or concerns? Okay. Commissioner Walker.
Yes. I have a question regarding the expenses. It says here the total encumbered or the allocated is $14,350. Do we know exactly how much expenses have been expended at this point?
Well, Friday I picked up a flyer order, so we're going to be looking at about $600 for flyers and gallery cards. And at this point, we haven't had to pay Oakmont yet, so that money has not been spent and it's not reflected in the budget. But and that depends on how many meals are ordered with regards to the food. The parking will be about $730.
Okay.
Would that 600 then be the graphics? On the
graphics.
Okay, any other questions?
And then I'm looking at, in terms of our revenue, it looks like we're kind of halfway through our revenue target. And is any projection as to how close will we be able to meet, what percentage of the targeted revenue?
Projection was the actual budget, and then what we're looking for is we generally get, we gave the deadline of the 17th, so we'll have a better picture of that on the 17th.
in what particular area in terms of the sponsorships or advertisements can we, or are we expecting more sponsorship? Is there a particular level here?
Well, the goals were laid out initially in the report that came to the commission last month, and each commissioner had sort of agreed to bring in 5 sponsorship levels outside of the individual ticket sales. So I'm still waiting to see some additional ones coming in at both the Sapphire, Emerald, and Ruby levels. We had a goal set of 2 diamond sponsorships at least, and we have 1 so far. Staff is working on some leads, but I know that I don't want to just be the only one working on the diamond. So if somebody has some contacts out there and they're willing to go after another diamond, by all means, let's go for it.
And if I can add, I think tonight is a perfect example of what can happen. No one knew that they were coming, the ARS was going to donate that $1,000, and so that's was a pleasant surprise, and hopefully in the next few days we'll have more. But I think it's kind of our responsibility to kind of make that happen as well.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Because the deadline is the 17th, a lot of people will wait till the very last minute to get reservations. It just happens that way every single year, is that we get it on the very last day of reservations, so RSVP dates.
Because I see the jewel sponsorships, that's, I think, just 10% of what we've proposed. So that speaks for the late reservations that you're talking about?
A lot of them, yeah.
Okay.
And that should probably really say Jules individual ticket sales, right? Because those
Okay.
aren't sponsorships, those are individual tickets. And remember that we all also have to purchase our own tickets, so if you haven't already done so, you can let Ms. Haddad know where you fall in terms of sponsorship, if it's an individual ticket, or if you're able to do something over and above that, or sponsor a student, she'll need to know that as well. And I guess it's just continue to get any items or sponsorships that we can with that March 17 deadline. Can you fairly regularly send us updated the sponsor list and the silent auction list so that we can sort of see where we're at in terms of what is secured? At this point, maybe drop off the pending stuff, but what is secured, and so that we can see and assess where we are, since we won't be meeting again.
Daily or weekly?
Weekly is probably sufficient.
That would only be 1 more before the date.
Okay, well, I'll leave it to your discretion then. If there's a significant number of changes and you feel it warrants updating us so that we know, please go ahead and do that.
Or if it's critical time in terms of the crunch that we need to know, I'm sure everybody here is stepping up to the plate, but sometimes it's good to know, quite near the time.
Sure.
We should also, we haven't specifically talked about it, but since we won't be meeting again, in terms of setup, we can't waltz in at 11:30 and attend the event. So it needs to be understood that we'll have to come probably, a couple of hours if possible, ahead of time, especially because we are doing fairly well on our silent auction items. So I know you've talked about this, Grace, for staging the items and displaying them, that we may need to lay out material or cloths or boxes or things for height. And so we're going to need to make sure we have sufficient time to get that all set up, everything displayed, the bid sheets out, and so that we're all participating in that. Also, I should say, Ms. Haddad, those pens we had in the past were really bad, so let's make sure we buy a box of good pens, of just regular Bics. Those ones that we had for our past events, almost every other one doesn't work, and they're we don't want people not bidding because the pen doesn't work.
That's not an excuse.
Let's just get some normal ballpoint pens that we can buy a big pack, put one with every bid sheet, and they will work. And we can probably toss those ones we've had for the evaluations at other events. I remember when we showed the film, those pens were really bad. Okay.
That's what we remember.
Well, it was getting too hard to keep track of which ones worked and which ones didn't, and I kept tossing them, and people were trying to fill out the evaluations. They were
with our logos?
They were promotional items from somewhere that we had a whole slew of, so we were trying to use them. You get what you pay for.
Can you put on your list of to-dos, which must be about a mile long. Call Oakmont, ask Oakmont Country Club, how early can we get there to decorate? Because I'm not decorate, but put out the silent auction items, because I'm thinking like 8 o'clock in the morning might be a good time to be there, because it's going to take us a while, judging from what I've worked on in the past. So I think if we can get in at 8 o'clock in the morning, that maybe that would be a good thing. So if everyone kind of marks that down, that we may have to be there at 8 a.m. in the morning and get things ready, and then, of course, go home and get dressed for the event.
Can we set up the night before? Just, without leaving our things.
We
I think
might
it's
have
a
a
risky.
security problem.
I think that's
so.
risky, yeah.
No, we're not going to leave our things, just, the layout and
I
some
think
of the
they serve
decoration.
dinner.
It's probably too hard
It's a
without
dining room, so I think
putting
they
the
serve
items-
dinner. And
Oh,
there'll
okay.
be-
Because it's the
unless you
country
want to go
club
at 11
dining room.
o'clock at night.
Yes, okay. Ms. Haddad, did you have something?
Did you want to mention the wrap party on the 22nd to get the silent auction items staged and ready for the event on the 27th?
Okay,
Yes.
that's going to be 1 to 4 at our former Commissioner Kuntz's home, where we can, between 1 and 4, show up to help group items, package items, secure baskets or other creative containers, and make sure that we have that all wrapped up.
And that's the 22nd.
Saturday from 1 to 4. Also, we'll need to do, with respect to the checking out process, I know last year Commissioner Kevanian, that was before she was a commissioner, was instrumental in the checkout, and there were a whole group of girls who volunteered and worked. Do we have those girls available? Does anyone know? Or do we need a checkout crew?
I think that we should plan on getting a checkout crew because the girls will be in school during this year's event. Last year it was at nighttime, this year's in the middle of the day.
Okay, any suggestions? Like, is that us, after the event, we run and do checkout, or is there some other pool that we can think of that is trustworthy to handle, money and checkout and items? Those girls were awesome, and they totally knew how to do it. So if we can get someone of their caliber, that would be great. Any suggestions?
Not offhand, let me talk to Lisa Kuntz and find out what she thinks.
Okay. And we can probably also talk to our student commissioners to see if they do have any suggestions. Okay. Anything else we're missing that we should be, since we don't have another meeting, I want to make sure we plan out everything we need to.
For the checkout or the payment for the auctions and so on, are we doing credit card, or is it just cash, check?
I would suggest we get a credit card machine. I know I've emailed twice, but I've been having an email problem. The woman from my school foundation, my daughter's school foundation event, they rent a credit card machine for the day, and it is heavily used. Almost no one writes a check. So I was going to suggest we do the same thing, but I'm having trouble getting a hold of her to find out, how it works, how much it costs, the terms and conditions. But I would really suggest we do it if we're permitted to do so, because I think a lot of people don't even carry checks anymore. They do online banking, they pay their bills electronically, and
they
checks are
want-
sort of becoming obsolete.
And they want the points.
They want the points,
They'll spend more with the
exactly.
credit card.
And people will spend more, exactly, if they know they don't have to write a check.
It is going to be a good
It's an
investment.
incentive to
tool.
spend.
Yeah.
So I think it really behooves us to provide a credit card service. So I hope that we could look into that. So I hopefully will see her tomorrow at the meeting to find out what service they use and see what I can find out. So are we all agreeable that if we have that capacity, we
Yes.
should
Yes.
try to secure it?
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's another issue then, because we'll need a couple of people probably who are trained. We'll probably need 2 machines who can do it, take the cards, run them through, and do the checkout process.
Let's also get the manual forms for credit cards, just in case we have a problem with the internet connection or phone connection, or just maybe too many people at one time.
I think they supply them, because I know last
Okay,
year ours went down and we had to handwrite the credit card number, the expiration, and have the person sign on each form, and then someone later had to run them all through. So it does happen, and we need to be prepared for that contingency. So that's an excellent suggestion. Ms. Haddad? Okay. Anything else that we should be looking at?
I have maybe 2 more questions.
Sure.
What time is the photographer scheduled to arrive?
The event photographer?
Yes.
Probably about the hours of the event, or maybe before for some arrival.
Did you arrange that with,
Yes, he's asking for, what time he's flexible. He's blocked out, portion of that time.
Oh, is he our
before
event photographer?
And after, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. And are we having the photo booth thing or just the
Yes.
event photographer? Okay. Is it the same guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I acknowledge him?
Sure.
Okay. We'd like to thank James Hughes. He is a photographer, and he's going to do the event photography for us, no charge. And he'll take pictures of people, of groups, and he'll bring a printer. And if people are interested in purchasing, their pictures right at that point, he will be able to sell them to us.
Will he be set up so that as the guests arrive, their pictures will be
Yes.
taken?
Yes. And I believe the commissioners are available for posing and for autograph signing for the pictures. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah. Because we're so in demand. Does he know this is a daytime luncheon, so there
Yes.
might be not a lot of purchasing?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know...
But I know people will once they see their beautiful pictures.
But, I know a lot, like when you're in black tie or you're, at a fancy event, people tend to do that because they're not often dressed up or out with their spouse dressed up or something, but I wasn't sure about a
think just
luncheon, so
the
I don't want him to be
opportunity-
disappointed.
No, well, he knows.
Okay.
And I think just the opportunity to, have souvenir photos of the event, and we're not paying for it, and it's really a good community partnership with Mr. Hughes.
Okay.
He'll provide us with a set of pictures for our use for publicity.
Yes, and also online.
Okay.
And just to be prepared, this is something that we have to let the Oakmont Country Club know about so that they can make a space for that, have it prepared, or at least...
Yeah, a little
And the
table or
photographer
booth, yeah.
should know that he arrives at least, 45 minutes beforehand so that we can get
He
him
usually
set up
arrives,
and...
an hour or so to set up.
But just make sure that Oakmont knows, because they'll have to, they may have to move furniture or do something.
Yes,
So
and
they
he-
need to know that.
That's a good point, because he would need connection, for his printer.
That little hallway right as you go into the room, maybe that would be a good location so that he catches everyone as they go in or something, if that's suitable. I know where
There's
the Seroptimus had a couple of tables as you entered into the room with some of their items.
Yes.
Will our silent auction be entirely in the main banquet room with the event, or are we using a secondary room?
As far as I know, we're going to be using the main room in the Oakmont because it actually is quite large. One of the years that Seroptimus did their event there and did the silent auction, they had it laid out against the back wall in sort of like U-shaped sections for the different areas of gifts. So I think we could look into something like that. What really makes a difference is how many gifts that we end up getting and silent auction items and opportunity drawing items that we actually have.
Also RSVPs, because there is always the chance that with the great awardees that we're having, that we could sell more tickets than we expected, in which case we would need to push the tables out and possibly move the auction to another location. So that's always something to think of. And if we do that, we'll need personnel to watch the tables in the other area as well.
You're talking about a secondary room, right?
Yes, yes. For example, Brasford Cross had that whole
Sure.
2 other rooms. Now, we may not need to do that. Our event is certainly not as large, and a luncheon is a little bit different than an evening dinner. However, there is a chance we might need to move to another room, but then we just need to think through that we'll have additional staffing needs.
I think once we get the silent auction items organized and counted, then we'll kind of know how much room we need, and we can go over to the Oakmont a couple days beforehand, look over the situation, how many will go on the table, and get them prepared for the setup. And that's the way it has to be.
And in terms of writing the script for the event, we should know what our menu is so that we know if dessert is preset or if there's a clearing and how that's going to work, what our courses are and how they intend to do that. Ms.
The
Katafi?
program for the day, all things will go on during.
Yes.
Included in
Yes. We mapped out a draft, Vice Chair Devine, myself, and Ms. Haddad mapped out a draft sort of timeline from 11:30 to 1:30, and we sort of started the basics of the script, which we will then refine. What we can do is give everybody a copy of the timeline once we're there. We hope to have a very, I think we hope to have a noonish start and a very firm ending at 1:30 time. So checkout may occur after 1:30, but people who are just there to hear the speeches will be able to leave, go back to work, that kind of thing. So we'll be there for a while. So this may be not the best day to go to work. We may have so much time, setting up in the morning and cleaning up after that really it's kind of a wash for work. So if we're able, that might be a day that we can, it's enough time in advance to give notice so that we do what we need to do to the extent possible.
Do we have a map of the Oakmont Club?
I think usually, Ms. Haddad, usually they'll give you a table seating map, and you can assign, have you done that before with events? They'll give you a map of how the tables are going to be set up, and then you can assign for the sponsorship levels where the tables go from the best to going out, and then they have individual around the back or the sides kind of thing.
What the commission has done, I think, for purposes of ease and convenience, is only Diamond and Emerald sponsors were actually seated at tables that were assigned, and that was general seating for everybody else. So
I
could
think,
move it down
though,
even, it could be even more,
nice to
to Ruby, Emerald, and Sapphire, just including everybody.
I think, though, if we have, let's say ARS purchases 4 tables, I think we should set aside 4 tables that are for the IRS women so that they are for sure able to be seated together.
Groups that buy tables of 10, Downtown Merchants Association is buying a table, we would want to seat them all together as well.
And then will we be having table signage for them?
Yes.
Okay.
And table signage also for key sponsors, right?
Right.
Very good.
Are we having a live auction, just like we did last year?
Did we have a live auction last year?
Uh-huh.
What did we auction?
Was it a fabulous
paintings.
Oh! I was running around a lot, okay?
Fireman's luncheon, dinner.
You know what? I think that with the tightness of our program, we may not do that this year, just because I don't think we will have the time to take away and devote to that.
Do we have any big-ticket items this year, like over 1,000?
We have $500
Okay.
auction items. I don't know how many.
So maybe if we, I don't know, I'm trying to secure something, 1,000 and over. If we can, I think that would be good to do as a live auction.
Okay, well, let's wait and see, and then assess that as we get something to see whether it's worth it or not. When we looked at the program, it's a very tight, with 3 awardees. We're trying to keep it, moving, and it's going to be tight. So we could maybe build in a little time, but we wouldn't be able to do a significant thing. So we've even
It's
talked
just-
about opportunity drawing, how we could work in a couple, but we can't even have that many of those, just for logistic reasons. Where we would do a couple, then do a couple, and then do a couple. What we don't want to do is that one year, this predates you. We had a slew of opportunity drawing tickets, and it just went on and on and on, and dragged our program down, where we were on our 20th item pulling the ticket, and that didn't work. So we have learned from experience. Okay.
I think if we can get, the $1,000 or over, big ticket items, it usually is helpful if it's live auction, so that you can focus on it, and, you can encourage people to bid higher.
Well, if we don't have time for it, I think we can still tweak the schedule. But if we don't have time for a live auction, perhaps if we do a raffle, an opportunity drawing, and sell tickets and do maybe 3 of those big ticket items, that would save a lot of time. We would just pull 3 tickets. That would be pretty simple and pretty fast. And we might be able to make some funds from that instead of the live auction. That would be a lot
But
quicker.
if it's, if we prioritize maybe 3 of $1,000, at this point, we still don't have anything $1,000 and over. If we, for instance, get 1, that's $1,000. If we do that live auction, easily in 5 minutes, that can be done.
And who would we get as an auctioneer? That shouldn't be a problem.
Whoever is a keynote speaker, or?
I mean,
No.
professional. if you
The
wanna get
MC?
No,
good money. It should be
I don't think that's her
professional.
forte. I think it really has to be, like, the Soroptimists they had a gentleman who, this was his career, and he volunteers, and he's a professional auctioneer. So I think you really need that, because that's the allure of it.
I think last year we had Mr.
Kasakian,
Yeah. Arnie.
yes, our city
Yeah.
clerk did the auction.
Well, he did a good job. Well, it's something for us to consider.
Let's we'll keep it in mind, and as the items come in, we'll continue to.
And it gives the opportunity for the key sponsors also to be highlighted, so it's an additional incentive for them.
Okay, anything else that we should talk about before the big day?
I'd like to know who is going to provide the entertainment. I noticed we have performers here, but
We're not going to this year. We're going to, in the past, we'd had like a musical, like basically a little mini concert of classical music performances, and what we discovered is that was confusing for people because they sat and listened, which our intention was that they were to get up and go bid and enjoy the music. And they sat, and it was sort of, the music wasn't, it was beautiful classical music, but it wasn't sort of lively and light, and it was very somber to some people, and so everyone sort of sat there, and they weren't sure if they should get up or if it would be bad manners. So we put it in so that we had a budget if we needed to do something, or if we needed to have music, but I think this year we've decided to forego that. Is that correct, Ms. Haddad?
Seems to be the consensus of the committee, so.
Will there be piped-in music or something?
Well, the thought I had was to have maybe just like a saxophonist playing background, so you have that ambiance, and that works really well. I've done that every event that I do. I have some sort of live entertainment that does not take away from the focus, and he's the type that sort of like a Kenny G type, where he kind of walk around the crowd and play, so it won't. No one can really just sit and watch him. He stays busy, or he could be sort of in the background, and it would fit in with that budget.
Where is that item? Where are you seeing? On performers?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe that would be good for the 11:30 to noon, so we don't have just a quiet room. What do you think about that? Where we have the event starts at 11:30, people are checking in, they're bidding, they're going around to the tables. That might be an opportunity to have some music. Is that an expense? We have the line item, so is it something that we're interested in using a part or all of what we've allocated to have that ambiance?
In the past, we had, wasn't it a violinist of sorts that we had, and everyone seemed to enjoy that, so might be a
little
nice,
jazz, something, like I said, sort of like along the lines of a Kenny G style.
very nice.
So it's
So
instrumental.
as long as it's not real loud, that's good, I guess.
Be tasteful, very tasteful.
Is this someone you know and could maybe make an inquiry of?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Is that
Make sure you all get a CD or something you can listen to, and but you'll be.
I know a pianist.
Know what?
I will ask him, pianist.
Oh, great. Great.
I'll ask him if he wants to come volunteering. If he wants to come, you decide.
Do they have a piano there?
Yeah.
in the other room.
Okay.
When you first walk in, I was thinking someone who could be more integrated in with the crowd.
Moving around.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we see if the saxophonist is available? And since he could move through the room, and if he's not for some reason available that day, we see about getting the pianist. Does that sound good to everyone?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other things we're overlooking along those lines?
Is that a set price already, $500 for...
Well, that's the max, I guess.
That's the max.
Okay,
That doesn't
so if we
mean
can
we have to
negotiate.
start off that right off the bat.
No, I will negotiate that.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
We're like free too.
Throw in a few CDs, too.
Exactly. Okay. Anything else?
Right.
Ms. Haddad?
Just an idea for Commissioner Lamel. One thing that we did for Alan was let him have a little space where he could sell his CDs in exchange for, maybe reduce the price of the performance. So that would be one
Excellent
idea.
idea.
an acknowledgement in our
Absolutely.
brochure and so on.
We did thank them in the program.
Maybe like a business card ad or something.
Oh, that's a very good idea, actually, because then people who will remember him, if they like it, could use that. So let's see if he's available.
I will.
And if he has a postcard or whoever the entertainer is, especially if it's pro bono, we'll put it in the swag bag. Their postcards too, because we're having 300 of the swag bags, so it's a good marketing opportunity
Promotional
for
card.
our
Yes, that is a good idea.
our sponsors.
That is a very good
Right.
idea. Okay, I think we do need more swag. I think that's one area where we could do more. A lot of the things we have requested are not coming in. So what do we have confirmed so far for swag?
Packet Anywhere is a company that was formed by a young woman entrepreneur, and it's a refreshing sort of face towelette for, she does a lot of traveling for her work. So we've got that donation. We have Nestle, of course, courtesy of Busby Promotions, and sort of blanking out, actually, do we have it in the report?
Yeah.
I think those are the two listed.
Yeah.
So we really would ideally like to have, we had the OPI nail polishes a couple years ago, and the Lola lipsticks, or the Lola makeup cases with all the filled with makeup. So people have an expectation now.
Take care of that. I have several pending,
Okay.
good items.
Okay, very good. Then I
And-
guess what we can do to keep everybody abreast is, as things like that come in, let Ms. Haddad know, and then she can send emails that let everyone know the updates. We can't obviously communicate with each other by email. We have our Brown Act requirement, so we will send our communications to Ms. Haddad, who can then keep sending updates out to all of us. Don't hit that reply all.
And may I add that those have to be here and in our hands by March 22nd, because that's when we're going to be wrapping them. So we want to have all of that done on March 22nd. So all we have to worry about is going to the Oakmont Country Club for a kind of a walkthrough, kind of check out where we can put everything and the location, et cetera, and then the actual day of the event, getting everything there. So that all has to be in by March 22nd.
Although
Swag.
we may not want to assemble the bags ahead of time because it takes up a huge amount of space to have the bags pre-assembled. Assembly of gift bags is usually done pre-event, just because of the bags are folded flat, the items are packed in boxes. When you assemble those bags and put all the stuff in, that
You got to
is a
have like an
huge-
assembly line kind of thing to,
Yeah,
go
well, that's-
around.
That's what we
That's what we're
generally have
planning on
done,
doing on
and it's
August.
kind of labor-intensive because, we each take a product and go around. But the logistics of transporting 300 pre-prepared gift bags is also who can store them, who can take them, who can
Well,
set them out.
If I can add, Lisa Kuntz is not guaranteeing that she's going to be able to take everything to the event on that day. So on March 22nd, we are all going to have to share in picking up or taking with us some of the auction items anyway. So that onus is on us. So we're going, whether it's 300 of these bags, and I've done 100, 150 bags, and you can get them in a box that's not really that big or that heavy. So I think it's critical that we have everything done before the day of the event. We cannot possibly be putting bags together on the day of the event.
Well, we've actually done it every year. So what I think we could do is this. Why don't we assess on the 22nd what our bags are and what our items are to see whether it's feasible to pre-assemble 300 or not. I don't think we can really make that decision in a vacuum right now. Obviously, your preference is to do it ahead of time. My concern is who's going to carry 300 gift bags in their vehicle that have been pre-made, drive them around, and then bring them to the event later that week. So
I can store the swag bags in my house because it's really near.
Okay.
And I have tons of boxes.
Okay.
So.
Do you think then putting them ahead of time together will work? Pre-making them?
And then you have to, move them back again. Probably, I'll assemble like volunteers who can do it in my house or something like that. So that, do you see that you don't have to
So you don't have to
transport
move
it
them and move
again,
them.
from
Right,
one,
that's what I'm saying. That becomes kind of
collection area
arduous.
to another one to, yeah.
Okay. Then I think we can leave it to your discretion what works best for you.
What we also can do is the boxes that copy paper comes in, if we all have a couple of those, maybe 3, I think a lot of those bags can fit in there, and we take as many as we can. So it's
I have tons
little
of
less-
boxes.
Okay, so maybe you can bring them on
Yeah.
the 22nd and see how we can do that.
And again, I don't think the items for the swags are really bulky, you know. A lot of the things that I'm trying to solicit are postcards with, you know, discount items or services, so.
Yes. And then really all the gift certificates will either be grouped or singly placed in big manila envelopes that are labeled and numbered. So those will be easy. Those I think we had in a big file box last year, didn't we? And they were just in order, ready to go. So really the items we'll be taking will be the gift baskets and the larger three-dimensional non-paper, non-document stuff. And if we all share that burden, that can work out okay. Okay, any other things that we're forgetting? Okay, if you think of any details, something critical we are forgetting, email Ms. Haddad, and then we can work together on how to resolve the issue. Yes?
In terms of the revenue here, we have not included live auction, silent auction. Is it included in the revenue?
In terms of projected what we're looking to get, no.
Yes,
It's
okay.
not, because that also depends on the quality of things that come through and how much we get. So we didn't want to, the budget, this is the budget that was approved at the last meeting, so.
I would suggest that since that's a source of income, to start doing projected and then actual for the silent auction. And also for the silent auction, in the past, have we, you know, tracked what items have been sold at what price points?
Very informally. We had our bid sheets, so we knew what had sold and, you know, at what amount. But I think we weren't prepared because we didn't have an actual event budget to put anything like that into here. I think what will happen is this year, we will know what was the value of the items secured and what amount we received for that, and that will better prepare us for next year to make a
Tracking,
projection
yeah.
or to, you know, up the ante so we have a goal. But I think this year we'd be kind of speculating, which is why we didn't put it in, because, you know, we have a lot of new people and we didn't know what we would be doing exactly, and it looks like we're doing really well. So that actually may be a really good thing for us, where we'll come in with greater revenues than we have budgeted for.
I think Ms. Haddad did an excellent job putting all the auction items in a spreadsheet, and it's just a matter of putting, there's the value here, putting another column at the end once we get the bid sheets so that we have like an archive of what we've sold and the price point, because I'm really interested in kind of like gauging, each fundraiser is different from one another in terms of gauging what items are popular, okay, what items need to be grouped together, what items really met the price points that we've set. So those are really valuable data that we can start collecting.
We should probably put on these fire and police ones, priceless.
She did.
Instead of zero.
The zero, because that way I can get a sum total at the end of the column.
Yes.
But on the bid sheet, it says priceless.
Okay. I'm like, zero? Okay, you had a comment?
I do have a comment. What we do know, though, about the silent auction is that people have been very hesitant to spend over and above the amount that's listed as the value of the item. So that if you have the item, of the value of the donations, you can actually expect less than that as your revenue, actual revenue for the event. So even though it's for a good cause, I mean, it's all going for fundraising. But it seems to me like that's been the trend also at my children's school foundation. People just don't want to spend
All
a lot
silent
of money.
auctions are really like that. People go there because they want to get good deals, and they're not really going to pay for the, you know, actual price.
So are
the
you saying
MSRP.
the amount shouldn't be listed?
No,
No,
it has to
But-
be, and then, you know, like, say the item is worth 50, and you start at 20, and the raise is 2. But people, it may go for 30 or 35. Sure. And what we have found, and I think at all the events I've gone to recently, is it used to be that people would go over on an item because it was for a good cause. But with the economy the way it is this year and the perception that money is tight, people want a deal. And we realize that actually having really expensive items in some ways harmed us than having more affordable items, because, like, say, a basket worth $150 might sell for $75. So
And if you
if
split
it
that
was a
into two-
smaller item, yes, exactly. It seems more manageable and within people's price ranges, whereas they might just go past something that has a higher value because they realize that, well, okay, I'm not going to spend that much. So I think we've done a good job this year at having a variety of items so that there'll be something for everyone.
And I believe last year, the auction items, there's some items that didn't really sell well. So can you give us an idea? as
From
to
my
what our-
recollection, without
Yeah.
having looked at the data recently, things like yoga didn't go very well. Massages went fantastic.
Exercise.
So people want to pamper. They don't want to think about disciplining themselves. So
No classes.
pampering. Those baskets went really well.
Food, yeah.
Food, chocolate, liquor, alcohol, all of that went really well. But things like, health evaluations or gym memberships, those don't go.
Okay, so what would be good, having that information, is that we can package some of those, not so popular items and put them in a, gift basket with other donated items. So that's another way to upsell.
Excuse me, how about the gift certificates? How do
They usually have a value right on them.
they have it? Sometimes
So-
they don't.
I think if it doesn't, we have to sort of try to ascertain from the business owner what that service, like a manicure or pedicure or something, we would have to call and say, what is that worth? Because we need to have some starting point, if none is stated, to be
Hairdresser with
accurate.
hairdresser.
It has
Well,
no
how much
value.
do they charge?
Then we just need to call them and say, how much for this service, and then just write it on there so that we can be accurate. Okay. Anything else? Okay, looks like we're doing very well.
Oh, I have another question too, because I
Yes.
know we're not having any meeting. Have we decided on the centerpieces as to what, are we going to ask for donations or? Because that's another option to be able to maybe sell those centerpieces.
Ms. Devine had a suggestion of what might be a very cute and very easy centerpiece.
Well, I was thinking that since our color scheme is pink and brown, pink and green, that if we just do a simple bud vase with the pink rose, and then what we can do is let the sponsor or whoever at the table would like to have the centerpiece would go ahead and take it. I don't think we need to nickel and dime and ask for donations for the centerpiece, unless it's something really elaborate. But it's not, at this stage of the game, since it wasn't planned for, there's no reason to try to ask people to donate for them. So we'll just kind of give them away. We can figure out a way to get someone to take them. I think the sponsorship is fine. If someone has a table, it's their table, they can take the flower. And if they want to give it to someone, they can.
If they
Who's doing
don't, oh, go ahead. If they don't have bud vases, there is a place called Muscatel's downtown, which is like a huge, where all the florists go, and they sell all the vases. They're like 99 cents each. So they're really, really cheap. It's just a question of someone going downtown, buying the box, and taking care of that.
Are you volunteering?
No. I might not be downtown.
Who's putting the vases or arranging it?
Well, I think this was something
Is
that
it-
would be very low
Is it
maintenance.
fresh flowers?
I think the
Or-
suggestion would be a fresh rose in a bud vase. So that's
Just
a
one?
very, yes, so that it's a very simple,
Well, that's
easy.
as opposed to nothing.
So I think that was a suggestion. I mean, we can pay for centerpieces and approach one of the local florists, someone I can think of offhand who's very supportive of the commission, and negotiate a deal and purchase centerpieces. It's just a question of, is that where we want to spend our money? So, that's sort of a philosophical decision about how important is the centerpiece to us.
It adds to the ambiance.
I was going to say I'd like keeping it simple.
And I think that's what Vice Chair Devine, I don't want to speak for you, but I think that's what she was thinking of, what's something that's really easy to do so that it's not labor intensive. Yes.
I think there'd be a lot more clarity after I make my phone calls to Oakmont tomorrow. I'll be happy to send out an email with the laundry list of things that I'm going to be asking them about, just to get clarification on what they have. They could even have dummy centerpieces that they use on their tables all the time. I'm not really sure what they're offering with regards to that. So if you'd like to hold off on this conversation, you're welcome to, and I'll update you tomorrow after the conversation with Oakmont.
Okay, very good. Okay, anything else? Okay, let's go ahead and move off this item then, and we'll have some regular communication with Ms. Haddad in the form of updates to everyone, and keep her updated so that she can incorporate your responses into the updates that she sends out. Okay, next item on the agenda, 7A3, update on Sexual Assault Awareness Month, or SAM, activities. Ms. Haddad, can you give us a report, please?
Absolutely, with the motion, if just for clarity, to provide direction regarding SAM activities. So as hard as it is going to be, if we can move beyond March 27th into April, we've got a whole slate of activities happening for Sex Assault Awareness Month, which begins on April 3rd with part of our self-defense series. Shield Self-Defense has generously agreed to provide 3 trainings, one of which is in, actually we have great community collaborators with us on this particular series of events. So that would be April 3rd, 10th, and the 17th. The 10th also falls into Assemblymember Krikorian's larger district-wide series of women's self-defense workshops. So he is our signature sponsor on the 10th. Senator Scott and the YWCA and the Commission, of course, are the collaborators, and Krikorian, the Assemblymember Krikorian's office, are all the collaborators on the rest of the days for that. Helena Gregorian of Synthesis Design Group has agreed to donate her design skills. She's the one who designed that beautiful flyer for last April with the flowers on it. We're going to be updating that and utilizing her logo for Sam to do the T-shirts again. And so she's agreed to do that, and we'll be providing that, and it'll be finalized in time so that we can send those out at the Jules event. So we'll have that as one of the flyers, either in the swag or at each individual place setting. Since the last time the Commission met, the Mayor has agreed to provide a resolution for Sex Assault Awareness Month and Denim Day in Glendale. That will be presented to the City, to the Commission on the status of women on April 15th at 6 p.m. during City Council meeting in the Chambers. April 19th, these are the new events to the slate of activities that were presented last month. And then finally, April 19th, Lori Tatulian will be resubduing her fantastic razor-sharp show, this time specially commissioned for Sam by the YWCA. It's called Quinceañera Times 2. It was her 30th birthday this year, so that's her celebration, is Quinceañera Times 2. And so she'll be presenting that one-woman show at the YWCA April 19th. Tickets for that show will be $20 in advance, $25 at the door, payable to the YWCA Domestic Violence Project. The regular events that are scheduled, Take Back the Night and the Clothesline Project, is scheduled for April 25th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. And then Dollars for Denim, the fundraising campaign that the Commission has held for the past 3 years to raise money for peace over violence, will be taking place on April 23rd, and it will be $5 to wear your denim to work. You can participate if you're a community member, a city employee, a commissioner, city council member. We'll take all those $5. All of that revenue goes directly to Peace Over Violence to support their anti-violence work in the field of that they are working in. So that's a fundraiser. Over the past 3 years, we've donated roughly $2,500 to Peace Over Violence with this very small fundraiser that has been generally in-house. So that is the report on SAM, and staff is eagerly awaiting any additional direction that you have to give us.
Okay. Any questions or direction?
I'm sorry, I think I missed this, but is Lori Tatulian, did she do the show, a one-woman show last year or the year before?
Pomegranate Whiskey.
Pomegranate Whiskey,
Yes.
which that was
her.
her program? Okay.
With respect to, I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, I
With
just-
respect to the self-defense workshops, do you go to one of those, or is it a series of 3 that build on each other?
They do build on each other, but you can come to any one of them if you can't make it to all 3. You can come to 2 of them if you're not available for one night. This is actually probably a value of over $325 per person for the series for all 3 of them. It's very expensive to take self-defense classes. Nelson Neo, who is the founder of Shield Self-Defense, is a multiple black belt in his field. And so this is a program that he designed specifically to work with women's bodies and where our strengths are physically so that we could defend ourselves against an attack. So it's either a standalone or as a series. We're presenting it as a series. We'd like people to participate in all 3 weeks.
And he does our Rosie Goes to Wall Street for the young girls. Yes, he's wonderful.
I'm sorry, what is the running time on the play at the YWCA?
I haven't gotten that detail yet from the YW. Last year it was from 6 to about 7:30. Might be a little bit later this year. They might hold it at 8.
Okay, thank you.
So the time is up in the air.
Time is still up in the air.
Okay.
There'll be updates on the website, also the YWCA's website, and of course via email to our community list and our event list as well. So more information forthcoming on those kind of things.
I know on the 15th, I won't be able to be present for the resolution because I have another board meeting that night. So Vice Chair Devine, if you and or anyone else is available to go to City Hall for the resolution, that would be great. It's Tuesday, April 15th, yes.
Tax day.
Yeah. Now, we had those excellent cards last year. Where will we be sending those? What will be done with those to get out the word of these excellent activities?
We'll be going through all of our usual channels. The commission will have a stack of them given out to you, distributed to each of you. They'll also go at our public counters, the YWCA's website, plus they'll be emailed up on our website, plus emailed to our community list. And then everybody can also distribute the information to their own email lists.
Any other questions?
Not about that, but speaking of cards, do we have postcards for the Jewels of Glendale that we can distribute? Is that
Yes,
available?
after the event.
Thank
Sure.
you.
After.
Okay, any other questions or concerns? Okay. You have enough direction for purposes of satisfying your report?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. That brings our business agenda to a close. Actually, we have 7B, reports, information only. Item 1, none. So item 7, we are completed. Item 8 is commissioner and staff comments. Why don't we just go around the room and see if anybody has anything to add? Commissioner Walker?
I just want to invite the community to participate on April 5. We have a Kiwanis one-day volunteer event at Pacific Avenue Education Center, and we're going to be planting trees and helping with the beautification, landscaping, and hardscaping of that adopted school. So.
And I wanted to remind everyone of the Glendale Mayor's prayer breakfast this Thursday, early, 6:30, with Mrs. Don Drysdale. And I think that'll nicely fit into our Women's History Month theme. Let's see. Let's get out and support the mayor. Oh, you can get tickets then through the mayor's office, and then you'll get a referring phone number.
And I just wanted to congratulate the first annual Downtown Dash. That's where I got this great T-shirt. I was I represented the walkers, Lana represented the runners, and Commissioner Devine was a great cheerleader and cheered us on, so we all made it past that finish line. But I'm really proud of what we were able to do as a community and people from the surrounding communities to help raise more than $50,000. I think they're still counting. It was a great effort with so many people, but it benefited the Glendale Adventist Medical Center and the stroke survivors, and continue to do research on that. We had people ages from 10 to 60. There were some younger ones, but they were lucky they got to be pushed around in a stroller. But more than 750 registered, and about 550 to 600 actually participated. So it was a wonderful day, and I hope to see everyone next year and to help make it even a bigger success.
Great. Vice Chair Devine?
Well, I want to add to that as well, because it was a great event, and I want to congratulate Maury Abrams and the Downtown Business Association. It was fabulous. I also want to congratulate Mayor Najarian for jogging the entire distance. He did a great job and was a good sport, as usual. And I found out today that his son Alexander, who ran, and he's not really a runner, he's a swimmer, but he came in second place in his age group, 16 and under, I believe. So that was a great representation for the city. It was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad it was successful for Glendale Adventist Hospital. I also want to congratulate Seroptimist International of Glendale for a very successful Bras for a Cause. It was truly a fabulous event. The bras were amazing and so creative, and it was a fun evening. And, of course, all of that money goes to the 3 local hospitals for cancer centers to help those that are struggling with that disease. So job well done, Seroptimist. I'm very proud of all of you. And Commissioner Manasarian, just a hello to you. And she's expected back next month, so we're hoping. Thank you.
Commissioner Katafian, anything?
Nothing special, but this is a great pleasure for me to work together and just find out more about this commission, because I'm a new commissioner, and the activities I'm just getting to know what's going on with these activities. So I think I'll be able to work more closely with all these activities and help you to come out with better results in all your activities.
I know you've jumped right in to help get items for that silent auction for the event, so thank you very much. I know it's hard to come in a month before the fundraiser and be put to work right away, so we really appreciate the efforts of our new commissioners in taking on that challenge. Well, I would just like to say to everyone, we hope to see you at our Jills of Glendale Luncheon on March 27th. So with that, this brings our meeting to a close, and we are adjourned. Thank you.